Hello awesome YouTubers, bit of a long gap between videos, mainly because I've started uni, but today our video that we are doing is on GTR2 mods. It's an old game, but you know, they're still doing mods, so I thought, you know what, I'll pick the best mods. This is just cars, by the way. I will give a link down in the description of the modded tracks I've been using in the footage, but we'll start right away with quite a fun mod actually. And mod number 1 is the Batmobile. If you recognise this, it's the Batmobile from the Batman Arkham Knight video games. It's okay, but it's more for fun rather than realism, I would say. Right, going on to proper things now. We're doing some 1960s Formula 1 cars. This is I don't roughly know which era in the 60s or what precise year, but it's all the famous ones like your Lotus, your Hondas, your BMRs, your Coopers, and obviously Ferraris here, all your 60s ones. I think there's 2 eras that come with the mod, I think, because there was 2 Ferrari cars anyway. But these are actually quite a fun mod to have. They've got really good grip and mechanical grip, obviously, and then they're not good around high-speed corners, which is correct. Because you know, I mean, no aero kit, and the only thing I don't know is I don't think they gain air over the jumps, or they might do a little bit, but not as much as they actually would do in real life. But overall, this is a great mod to have if you're interested in classic Formula 1 cars. I just love it. But moving on, so our next mod is a short one, V8 supercars. This has all 3. It has the Holden, the Ford, and I think another one, but it's all the ones from the 2012 season of V8 supercars. They're very fun, a lot of really tough to drive. They oversteer like crazy if you're a bit aggressive. As you can see, I'm wrestling this thing around. Now we're on to Super GT. But obviously I love the Super GT cars, my favourite one being the Nissan GTR from the 2012 season. But yes, it has Nissan and it has the Lexus Murcielagos, because it goes as far back from 2005 as far as I know, up to 2012. So you've got you've got Lexus, Nissan and Honda that are in there every year, but you have ones like the Aston Martin DBR9 and the Lamborghini Murcielago that only appeared in an odd year. And I like them, and particularly as well, apart from the physics being quite fun, the sound. The sound is just amazing for the cars. It's unbelievable. It's definitely one of the best sounding mods, because you will hear that when we hit to some of the mods, they do not have sound, so I am terribly sorry, but maybe there's an extra mod you have to download, but I didn't, so I hope there's an extra mod. But most mods do come with sound, especially this one, and this sounds a bit amazing. And they are quicker than the GT cars, which they should be by just on paper, and they are in real life. So they are quicker if you wanted to go even faster around a track in a GT car. But these are definitely one of my favourites. I tend to use this actually more than the standard GT cars, just because the actual mod's better quality. We're now short one again. Go-karts. Go-karts is a bit hard. These are the gearbox ones, obviously. You can either have 125cc or 200. 200 just doesn't seem to work in my opinion. Either that, I'm just awful at throttle control, but they're near impossible to control, even on the one karting track that I've got. So my preferred one to use is the 125cc, which seems to work a lot better in terms of actual karting physics. But there's only one karting track in the game, so yeah, it's not really worth it. Now onto a decent mod. 80s Formula 1. There is 70s Formula 1, but I have decided not to show it because I prefer the 80s cars. No offence to anybody here, but that includes everything, obviously, like the MP4 McLaren from 1988 and the Williams. So pretty much every car from the 88 season or 89, or either one of Formula 1. It's totally worth it, and considering as well there's some modded tracks. This is 2007 Monaco, but there's some where you can get like 80s Monaco and a few other 80s tracks. So the 80s mod's kind of the best one to go for, just because there's more of the stuff available for the 80s F1 cars. There's the odd for 70s, but yeah, I want that fussed about the 70s Formula 1 cars. They are available. I don't know how good the mods are, but this overall though, they do seem a bit too easy to drive. There doesn't seem to be any traction control, which I think is wrong. They should be. Normally these were a handful. If you play them in Project Cars or Straight to Course, they are a handful around slow corners, and they are a bit, but not that much. They're like almost a bit too easy, especially on high speed corners. But they're a fun mod, and I like this mod. It's a mod I'll download again. So moving on again, we're going to NASCAR now. This is the 2012, correct me if I'm wrong, Wheeling Cup. I don't know if I got that right. This mod does not have sound, and because of that I don't really use it that much, because I like ones with sound, and it's awful when you don't have a gear change option. But this is the only one I found for NASCAR. There probably is other NASCAR ones, so if you're into any sort of sprint car, cup car racing, let me know if you find any more. But this is the only one I really found. But yeah, it doesn't have any sound, and the physics are actually quite okay to some degree, but I wouldn't know because I've never played any of the NASCAR games, so you can give that a go. Now this is the one that's full of mods. This is the GT mods, the additional GT cars. In fact, they're still supported to this day, because you've got the 2016 McLaren here, you have the 2016 Corvette C7 if I'm right, but that crashed when I ever tried to load it up, which is a bit upsetting. Same with the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 and Super Trophy or whatever. The Huracan crashes as well, which is a bit sad. But the SLS works, which is good. Sadly though, they're separate mods. You have to get them separate. I think there's the 4GT as well, that obviously took part in 24 Hour Le Mans, but I don't know. But apart from that, all the other mods, it's GT 2013, and it's a brilliant mod. It comes with the R8, it comes, as you can see here, with the GTR, it comes with every GT car that was in the Blancpain Endurance series in 2013, and it's great. But yeah, the newer ones you have to get separate, and I haven't seen a 2016 Audi, or either that or I just haven't looked for it. But if you can't be bothered, because there's like one or two websites that have the 2016 cars on, if you can't be bothered looking for them, just Google GT 2013. So look that up, because that's the way to go really. Also on top of that, a few other GT cars obviously get mixed in when we go to the WEC. Obviously they're GTE, but they're still Grand Tourers. So if you're fussed about that, yeah, the physics are about the same. They're obviously a lot faster, a lot better and more responsive than the older ones that are obviously in the base game. And the sounds are fairly accurate, to be honest. They're alright. For a game this old, they're the sort you'd expect from it really. They're good. Better than Gran Turismo, but good. Obviously not as good on a level like Dirt Rally or anything like that, but overall this mod's a great mod, especially if you want to have more modern GT cars, because it's obviously the GT cars are about, yeah, they're over 10 years old. Now onto a good set of mods. Formula 1. Now this is the 2014 mod. Now I'm showing footage from the 2014 one and then the 2016 mod. The 2016 mod recently came out, and I recommend that over the 2014 mod purely because of sound and physics. The 2014 cars seem to be unrealistically overpowered and grippy, and they have the V8 engine sound, which is a bit weird. Whilst if you can hear now, the 2016 cars, which are all being played now, they have the V6 hybrid sound, and they feel more like the hybrid cars. They're a bit more crazy on the acceleration and harder to handle on acceleration and stuff. But this is, I think, one of the most impressive sounds, especially because I almost felt like it sounded a bit surround, which was impressive. But there is other mods, like if you want the 2009, I mean, you can get nearly every era of Formula 1, to be honest. 90s, everything. Whatever era you want, there's one for Formula 1. There's always a Formula 1 mod available, whatever year pretty much. But this, for modern ones, this seemed to be the best. I've heard 1998's a good one, but 2009, when I tried that, that was just broken. It was just really weird. It was like driving on ice constantly, which isn't right, obviously for a mod like this. But try them out, especially because I wouldn't think they'd be supported with 2016 Formula 1 mods, but it's really good. They've done a really good job, to be honest, and it's just fun overall. If you're wondering why I've got single cars available on here, it's because some of the mods struggle to actually do races, so that's the only downside. But for someone like me who just likes to go on free practice and improve my lap time, it doesn't really bother me. Now on to the biggest block, WEC. Now you can get the ARMS mod and the Grid mod. They're the biggest mods to get. They have Le Mans cars right up to 2012, because there's actually, this is the 2012 track available to download of Le Mans you see in here, and it has LMP1, 2 and the GT cars, most of them. I don't think it has all of them, it has most of them, I'll put it. But enough. So you've got the Audis. I've heard there's more modern ones. I think there's up to 2015 in mods for the 2015 or 2014 for WEC, but I don't know. They're a bit hard to find, which is the awkward bit. But this mod goes up to 2012, which is almost enough really, and it includes the United Sports Car Championship, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Daytona prototypes, which you may have just seen or you will shortly see soon, is the Daytona prototypes. Though a lot of these cars don't have sound, especially the Daytona prototype, the Corvette one, and it's a bit sad really because they need sound. Unless there's a separate mod, because this is a big mod. This is probably the biggest car mod you can download that I've seen. But no, it's just not available, and it's a bit sad because I do quite like the Corvette. Obviously, I think it won Daytona and then it won 12-hour Sebrings this year. But no, it's a shame really, because obviously I'm not fussed if the sound's not accurate, but when you can't hear gear changes, it's really hard because you're having to pay attention to your dash, and you don't really want to be doing that. Another sort of mod I won't be showing is IndyCar mods. There is a beta of a 2007 IndyCar mods, but they're not available. No one's converted the 2015 mod from R Factor. The only ones that are available is 2005, and last time I remember they have the startup sound but don't have the other sound, and they're alright, but from what I remember they're just not a patch on the actual IndyCars. So sadly there isn't that much support for IndyCars. If you're into IndyCars, I'd recommend getting R Factor because they have more IndyCars. But overall, I'll just say thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and they're my best mods that I found for GTR. I will give a link in the description of where to get them and the tracks that you see in this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you